Hey guys, welcome to my first video with my new wild Mustang. She's a 3-year-old 13-3 buckskin mare from the Devil's Garden Wild Horse Territory in California. She is my third Mustang to gentle. You'll also soon be seeing my 4-year-old gray, also from Devil's Garden, in just a few weeks. I got stuck working on this video and ultimately decided to split the video, so rather than the full week, today I'm just going to cover her first day in Vermont. On her first evening here, I started working with her, which is what you're seeing now. I'm basically just trying to get her to move her hindquarters and turn slightly towards me. Eventually, I'll want her to face me square on, but to start out, I try to give her as many little wins as I can. When she looks my way, even just a little bit, I'll take the pressure off and walk away. Eventually, I'll ask for more and more as she starts understanding. Okay, so I really do want you to note that while I am trying to explain what I'm doing, I'm not trying to make this as a tutorial or a how-to guide. I'm not a professional horse trainer, and I'm just what I call a project equestrian, meaning that I'm a huge piece of work. I view myself as a project, and I'm continuing to try to grow and learn, and I'm just sharing these experiences on YouTube. YouTube is for everyone, and just because someone has a YouTube channel, they are not automatically made a professional. They may just be sharing their journey and are brave enough to do so. I'm just one of those everyday normal people, and this video again is not a tutorial, nor is it me telling you what to do. In fact, the methods and techniques that you see in this video probably won't be the same for the next video or with the next wild Mustang. I'm adapting and changing as I search for what works for me. There were things that I did with my first wild Mustangs that I liked and things I didn't like, so I'm building on what I learned with Britta and Libby, and I'm just hoping that I continue to grow my knowledge and add more tools to my toolbox. You'll probably see me changing as I go along. Perhaps this crunchy snow can give you just a small idea of how cold it was on her first morning. Quite the contrast to that warm pickup day. I started the day out by mucking her pen. Everything was frozen, so I tried using my heel to free the manure. Never use your toes, by the way. The heel wasn't good enough, so I had to use my shovel. I'm guessing it takes about 3 times as long to muck in the winter as it does in the summer because it's kind of a 3-step process of first freeing the frozen manure, then raking it up over the frozen ground, and then attempting to scoop it up. Everything just takes so much longer. When you're training a Mustang, there are so many other things that go into just taking care of them. It's not all rainbows and butterflies and not all the fun of training. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that you don't always get to see in these videos. Now, Vermont winters can be pretty tough and you just have to make the most of it. Every day I have to lug over hay from my domesticated horse barn to bring here for the Mustang, and then I'm also bringing water from my home to the domesticated horse barn because the water pump there is frozen. To add to the troubles, the buckskin's heated water tank broke. I'll just leave it at that and say this morning has not been going smoothly. Hey guys, so it is about noon on her first day here. There she is. So I'm about to start working with her. I was dealing with so much this morning between the snow, the ice, frozen buckets, the electric not working, the fence being down at my other barn. There was just a lot going on, so I'm a little late in getting started. It's really cold today. It was about 5 degrees this morning. So basically it's warm, a little bit warmer now. I think it's like 10 or 15, but what that means is my phone will not last long in this cold, and I'm really bummed, but I probably won't be recording all of my session. I know I won't be recording. In the cold, the phones just shut off really fast. They die. The battery just gets drained like that. So I'll just kind of do what I can. I'll probably pull out my phone when I feel like something's about to happen. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. You ready to get started, pretty girl? You know, I have a lot of acquainting to do. She's so pretty. I picked up from where I left off yesterday. Again, I'm working on trying to put a little bit of pressure on her hindquarters and have her turn even just a tiny bit and get a release. I start by rewarding even the slightest look in my direction. She doesn't know that she's doing the right thing right now, but as I'm consistently rewarding her looking in, she's going to start figuring out that that is the answer that I'm looking for. And then I'm going to slowly raise my expectations and ask just a little bit more of her. These are just a few short clips, but I practiced this over and over again, making sure that she has an understanding of what I was asking before I raised my expectations. Later in the morning, and after a couple of breaks to warm up, I went back out and started trying to get her to move her feet a bit. I'm just trying to get her to trot around the run pen, and then I'm going to ask her to stop and face me. I do this by shifting my body position and stepping out in front of the drive line. That's basically an imaginary line right around the withers. So I'm really just stepping out in front of her, drawing her forwards towards me, and then I give her a rest. Ideally, she would be facing me, but again, I try to let her find her wins, and then I'll slowly increase my expectations. Now, two of the takeaways I had from working with my former Mustangs, Libby and Britta, were one, to try to relax my body more in the round pen, and I think I did a better job at this in comparison to my old videos. And two was to have wider angles when stepping out in front of the drive line. This helps prevent the horse from feeling crowded or trapped, and it also helps me more clearly communicate with my body what I'm asking. I'm trying to use as little pressure as I need to get her moving forward, and I give a big release once she does what I'm asking. If she changes directions on her own, I just correct her each and every time, and I just keep consistently doing this. She's already doing a much better job at facing up to me. She caught on to this in a couple of minutes, so that happened really fast. I don't always show it, but I usually give her a pretty lengthy period of rest. As long as she continues to face me, she can rest. And that just keeps reinforcing the behavior so she'll continue to do it again. Now, it was my goal to move on to direction changes, but before I started with that, I wanted to make sure that she could face me square on, because that's really the setup for the direction change. Once she got that, I replaced the rest period with a direction change.
It's going around in circles. It's going around in circles. It's going around in circles. Circles. Hey, it's going around in circles. The focus on my mindset. Maybe this will be alright. This is just how life is. It's going around in circles. I said it's going around in circles, circles. It's going around in circles, circles. Yeah, it's going around in circles.
My phone died, but she continued to get better and better off camera. So I decided to move on. Something I learned from Libby and Britta is to not drill something for so long that the horse ends up resenting it. We're aiming for perfection, not... I said that backwards. We're aiming for progress, not perfection. So I moved on to doing a little bit of approach and retreat. I'm trying to teach her, now that she's facing up with me, that I'm not asking her to do anything, and then I try to retreat back before she does. After she spooks, I can use what she just learned to get her to face back up to me. Right now, this little buckskin has a pretty big personal space bubble. I'm nowhere near getting my first touch with her. She reminds me of a little bird who you can sort of approach, but if you get one step too close, she's off like the wind. And that's what made me think of a name for her. I named her DG Sparrow, or just Sparrow. The DG is really just a salute to Devil's Garden. Because Forest Service Mustangs don't have brands, it's kind of nice to attach something of their origin to them. One of my biggest pet peeves with horses is when people forget the history of a horse and forget where it's from, forget its age, they forget their gender sometimes. And the last thing I want to say is, like Britta and Libby, Sparrow unfortunately is just a project horse for me. she's going to be very hard to let go of. I can tell you that. I love this little horse so much already. Anyway, that is all for today's video. I'll see you in my video next week. Thanks for watching.